as I understand it, the government, the Crown Prosecution Service, the devolved administrations and local authorities have all adopted the IHRA definition, working definition and examples of anti-Semitism. And, as well, 31 other countries, including Austria, France and Hungary, have all also adopted this internationally agreed definition in full. The Labour Party, or the Labour NEC, going against the overwhelming wishes of the Parliamentary Labour Party this week, they voted on it on Monday, they have decided in their wisdom not to adopt the definition in full. Or rather, they, as I understand it, have adopted the definition, but not all of the examples. So, the definition goes as follows. Anti-Semitism is a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed towards Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and or their property, toward Jewish community institutions and religious facilities. Now, then the IHRA, they come up with a whole list of examples to try to help us navigate this definition. The controversy this week, and it's been a huge controversy, it led, in fact, to Margaret Hodge, who is a Labour Jewish MP, accusing Jeremy Corbyn, her leader, to his face, accusing him of being anti-Semitic. The NEC, the ruling committee, voted to strip out some of these examples, and they are as follows: accusing Jewish people of being more loyal to Israel than their home country, claiming that Israel's existence as a state is a racist endeavour, requiring higher standards of behaviour from Israel than other nations, and comparing contemporary Israeli policies to those of the Nazis. Well, I want to know whether you think that the NEC got it right, unlike the government and the CPS in this country, and unlike France and unlike Austria and so forth. Has the NEC, has the Labour Party got this correct, or has it got it quite badly wrong? 0345 60 60 973. Let's go first to Abbas, who's in Redbridge. Abbas, good morning.
Hi there, good morning, Matt. I think this is just another ploy, really, to just silence any criticism of Israel. Professor Norman Finkelstein, a Jewish academic, political scientist, he regards Israel as an apartheid state. He's listed a whole number of influential, top-end Jewish academics who also regard Israel as an apartheid state. Are they also anti-Semitic?
But listen, Abbas, I think you. I say again because just like Danny in Crouch End is a sort of typically reasonable chap. You're a pretty reasonable chap yourself, and I think you can see why describing Israel as an apartheid state is hugely inflammatory. Let's remember what happened in apartheid South Africa. Black people were essentially treated like children. I mean, if you listen back and watch some of the newsreel, some of the clips from those days, and you had buses where black people were not allowed on, and you had areas that were exclusively white. If you were black, you weren't allowed to swim in a swimming pool with white people. To compare what's going on with the Israeli treatment of Palestinians in the West Bank and Palestinians in Gaza, and also Arabs within Israel proper, to compare that to apartheid, I think does you a disservice.
Well, I think you should listen to Professor Norman.
No, I don't want to listen to him. I want to listen to you. Let's not quote other people. No, I'm not interested in him. Abbas, I'm interested in you. You stand by what you say, please. Don't quote someone else.
No, because the reality is, when an academic gives there
are lots of academics in the world. Abbas, I'm going to move on to someone else. So I've got to be strict with you, Abbas. I want your view. I don't want you to parrot someone else's view.
Well, look, the reality is, Matt, that if you look at what is happening in Israel, you can make comparisons, because the Palestinians they're thrown out of their land. They're clearly not equal to the Israelis. There is a land grab going on even now, illegal settlements going on even now. The settlers pull out guns that are provided by the Americans. How many Palestinian lives have been lost? People who just throw stones, they get shot, they get killed. The fence was a classic example. These people could not really penetrate those fences. It was clear that they couldn't. And they were being sniped and they were being killed. So how is that different from an apartheid state?
I'll tell you, sorry, Abbas, the people in the West Bank, the people in Gaza, Arabs living within Israel proper, they all have the right to vote. And in apartheid South Africa, if you were black, you didn't. And I'm sorry, but there is no need to make your point that Israel treats the Palestinians badly, and I would agree with you broadly on that. To make that point, you do not need to exaggerate by trying to compare what's going on in that part of the world to the apartheid regime.
Well, look at what Human Rights Watch say. Look what Amnesty International say. Look what B'Tselem, the Jewish charity, look at what they say. They say that Israel routinely targets and punishes and terrorizes a civilian population. I'm sorry, Matt, but it might be uncomfortable.
Do people in the West Bank and Gaza and Arabs, the Arab population in Israel, 20%, 1.8 million people, do they have the vote?
That's not the point.
No. Do they have the vote, Abbas?
No, Matt. You're trying to lead the argument.
I'm sorry. I'm asking you a straightforward question, Abbas. Do they have the vote?
Do all Arabs have an equal vote?
Abbas, do they have the
Israel?
vote?
No, answer my question.
No, you answer mine before you ask me any questions, Abbas. Otherwise, we'll have to move on to Howard. I want to get your answer because I'm interested.
There is a minority of Palestinians and Arabs who live in Israel. The majority don't. And They don't have an equal vote, do they?
They don't have the equal vote in the sense that they are a minority. And if they voted in bloc and Jewish Israelis voted in bloc, of course the Jewish Israelis would win. That's what's happened in this very controversial. Hang on. I think one of us at a time. Racist law this week. But Abbas, I will come back to this question. If you don't answer it, I will move on. Do Palestinians in the West Bank and in Gaza and Arab Israelis have the vote or not? Is a yes or no answer. What's your answer?
So you're saying all of Gaza...
No, do they have the vote? Abbas, I'll give you one more chance. Do they have the vote?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
All right, Abbas, well, let's leave it there for a moment, because if you're not prepared to admit that Palestinians have a vote and that Israeli Arabs have a vote, then we're not going to get anywhere. And I thoroughly enjoy talking to you normally, but I just think it's counterproductive. We're not going to be able to if we're not going to agree on the facts. In South Africa, in apartheid, black people didn't have the vote. That is a massive, massive difference between what's going on both in the Palestinian territories and in Israel proper. And I understand and sympathise with your deep concerns about the way that Palestinians are treated by the Israeli state, but I do not go remotely as far as you to say that it is like apartheid. That is not to say that the law passed this week is a racist law, and because it is enshrined now in law, I think it makes Israel racist. It doesn't make it apartheid. We're not going anywhere close to apartheid. I think we can be a little more nuanced than Abbas was prepared to be there. But thank you.